Ndawu. We're going to talk about how absent fathers can affect the entire family and the siblings that the absent father from other. All right, let's put it this way. Imagine you've got your parents there with you at home, you're living with them, they're fine, everything's good, you're eating very well, they're feeding you very well, they're actually looking after you as parents are supposed to look after you. Then you know out there that there is a brother or a sister, your father's child out there in the community, and your father is not looking after that child, or your brothers are not looking after their children out there. And it is like it is a normal thing. It is like it's normalized within the family. Like like their children from outside, isn't it? That is dangerous. That is what I want to talk to you about, because it affects all of us. It affects the family. Like, within the family, you'll be affected, because if you're living very well as a child and your step brother or step sister out there doesn't live very well like you do, and your father doesn't look after those children like he does with you at home, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And that is trauma building up for you as children, because you have to pretend, you have to start pretending as if you don't see what is happening out there. You have to start living like it is normal, right? Like what you're seeing out there. Your stepbrothers, right? We call them stepbrothers, right? Your siblings who are not your mothers, or your siblings, your brother's children out there, they're suffering. But your brother is raising children within his family. When I'm talking about within the family, like if he's married, the ones outside is not looking after them, but the ones inside the house is looking after them. It is a problem. We can't live like that. Even the community outside, when they're meeting those children, they are pretending as if it is a normal thing, like the father is from there, but it is like we're normalizing it. Everyone start normalizing it. Violet. Everyone start normalizing what is happening outside. The Mandawi spirits, they're saying that all those things will affect us. Those are indirect traumas. They will create trauma for us. The children growing up in those kind of settings will grow up with trauma. Because if your father, your loving father, is loving you as much as he shows you, and he's not showing your siblings outside the kind of love that he's showing you, the way you look at him is not going to be the same. The way you think about him is not going to be the same. Because as a parent, children are supposed to be treated equal, the same way. Whether they're born within the family of the marital household or they're born outside, they're supposed to be treated the same way as the children within marital household, right? Now, this is the problem that happens a lot with fathers, because mothers, they can have children from different fathers and the children can be held together, right, by a mother. But fathers, they tend to be irresponsible when it comes to their responsibility looking after their children from outside, when they have children from outside. So now we're not talking about the children from outside, how they're feeling. Already we know that there's something wrong. They are feeling something, obviously, if they know that their father is there and the father is not even showing or even acknowledging that they exist, right? They're feeling something. But we're talking about the trauma that affects those who are from within the household of the pretentious parent who pretend to be good inside, but outside there, with his own blood, he's making it look like they don't exist. therefore creating trauma for the children. All of them, the ones inside and the one outside. It affects our human psyche. So a lot of us will be growing up with that trauma. When we are older, that will be affecting us, because the way we think we're supposed to be looking after, we're supposed to be getting guidance from our parents, isn't it? Our parents should be showing us what is right and what is wrong. So if your parents, you're growing up within that family household where one of the parent doesn't show you, they are showing you that something like that looks like it's normal while you're inside the house, you're eating while your sibling, your brother outside or your sister outside is not eating or dressing up properly. That is what we're talking about. The Mandawi spirits, they do not like it. They do not like it because it creates conflict. If that is your blood, whether it's from different mothers, if that is your blood, you're supposed to be treating each other equally, the same way. You're supposed to be loving each other. Your parents are supposed to be teaching you to love each other, not teaching you to look at your brother from outside or your sister from outside like he doesn't belong or she doesn't belong to your family. Therefore, they are raising you to have hatred, meaning that they are raising you to be neglectful. They are raising you to have that thing that abuse is normal, because that is abuse. If there's a parent who's neglecting a child from outside and treating the ones inside properly, like everything is all right, but others from outside, everything looks like it's normalized. The things that are not right, they are normalized as if it's right. So they're teaching us, growing up, that the abuse is normal. Neglect is normal. Ndawe, Utsile, Ndawe. Yes, we're talking about the Mandawi spirits. And they're teaching that fathers should be responsible. Our brothers should be responsible. As well as a community, we should be responsible. But when we are seeing things like that, we are affected as well. We are affected. As a community, we are affected. We have to live like, we have to pretend as if something is normal and normalize it and not say anything about it. That means we grow up with that problem of not telling people when something is wrong. Meaning that letting the father from that household, that neglecting their child from outside is not normal. Sometimes these things are not caused only by fathers, even mothers. When they see a child from outside, even though they know it is their husband's child, they will pretend as if they do not see that child. They will be happy that their children will be living very well at home, but that one doesn't live very well because it is a child from outside. Therefore, as mothers, we are creating conflicts for our children. We are telling our children that when they look at their siblings, because their siblings, you cannot deny it, when they're looking at their siblings, they have to look at them as if they are not family when they are, and you cannot change it. You can pretend. And actually, what they call it, there's something that we do when we are in denial. What they call it, there's a word for it. When you're in denial, like what you're seeing, you're not actually seeing it. What exists doesn't actually exist, even though you're looking at it. I'm talking about as mothers. As mothers, we are creating it for our children. We are telling our children that is normal to see their blood from outside, struggling, suffering, and not eating or not dressing or not going to good schools like their children are going to. And we are saying that it is normal. What I'm saying is that thing that we are letting it happen, we don't think it affects our children. It affects even those ones who are going to school in cars, who are dressed up nicely, going to private schools, and they're nicely eating properly in restaurant while their siblings are not eating. It affects their psyche. They cannot be normal looking at their siblings struggling like that and pretending like they are not seeing it. So it creates trauma for our children. This is the kind of trauma that we don't talk about, or we don't think it exists. We think that children will be fine, they'll excel, they'll go and they get married and they have other children. But we are creating trauma that we don't normally deal with. That if you are seeing someone from your father, your sibling, blood, this is blood, your blood out there struggling, and you are living nicely, something is not right. You cannot look at your parents the same way. I mean, you can make it normalize. You can normalize it and make it like it's supposed to be, like going on like that. Like my parents are looking after me. That one is from outside. It is not normal. That's what I'm trying to say. Mandawi spirits, they say it's not normal, and it doesn't. It affects the children and it affects them indirectly. It created trauma that we don't normally look at. When we're saying people are dealing with trauma, they're dealing with stresses when they're grown. Stresses sometimes are created by things like that, things that as society we are thinking they are normal when they are not. Yes, those are the things that affect us. They affect our children. The fathers who leave their children like that, it affects the children at home. It affects the children outside. Now, this one I was talking about was the children who are living with the father who is ignoring his other children outside. So the ones who are nicely cuddling up at home, sitting like there, my father is there, your father is there, your mother is there, but their children, your father's got children outside. When he's at home, he's living what they call it, that when someone like somehow tense, like it doesn't like it's like two people at the same time. He has to be like two people at the same time. Like he doesn't know like something outside is happening. So he's inside in that cocoon and like showing you the love. But it affects everyone. It is not normal. It cannot be normal. So that's just what I wanted to talk to you about. That fathers, please, brothers, please, do not have children outside and not look after them. Because if you don't look after those children at home and you go and have more children, you don't go and look after children outside. You go and marry someone and have children with them and continue as if you don't have children outside. You are affecting the children inside. Already the ones outside, they're affected, but you're affecting these ones as well. These ones outside, they'll have invisible trauma that they will have to deal with when they are growing up. And brothers, when you have children outside, even though you're married, you have children outside, please, you are causing the whole family to behave like it is normal when it is not normal, especially when you're married. When we know that there are children out there, but we can't say anything, we can't do anything because some of you don't even bring their children at home because they're just there because we've normalized that it's supposed to be like normal, like you've got what they call it, nyatsi in Sotho, like you've got someone outside, right? People need to take care of these children. The whole family have to be part of this family system. We have to give these children the strength that they need because those children will create a big unit of that strong strength when we are all together. If the others are out there, there's separation when we're looking at them as if we know that they are there, they are part of us, but we are not actually cannot say anything or cannot acknowledge it because sometimes as children, you don't actually know how to behave around your siblings out there because if your father hasn't introduced them to you at home, what are you supposed to do as a child? You grow up like just with that confusion. You grow up with confusion. That's what I'm talking about. You grow up with the confusion. That confusion keeps on building up, right? You're out there like you know someone. You understand? This is the things that we need to, as people, we need to try and correct. So fathers, please remember that if you don't look after the children outside, the children inside are suffering. Brothers, remember that if you don't let the children outside know that they've got their siblings inside, the siblings inside knows that they've got their siblings outside. You don't get them together. You're making your children suffer. You're creating trauma for your children, even though they're not going to say it to you, but you're creating trauma for your children, even for the whole family. Now you even go into the community. You're creating the community as well to pretend as if they're not seeing what is happening. You're creating trauma. You're causing the community as well to go like that kind of thing, like they don't know what is happening, like behaving abnormal, because it's not normal, isn't it? So these things need to be sorted. As a society, we need to correct them. And as healers and soon to be healers, we need to make sure that our people know that they should do things, the right things, right? Even us. It is a learning process. Ndauwe